Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel. Today in this video we are going to make the Eye of the Dragon from Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword. The first thing that we're going to do is use Sculpt Play air dry clay. We don't need a lot of it, we just need a small amount of it. So we're just going to take a piece of clay and start getting it loose and getting it into shape. By making this, we're going to make sure that both sides of the Eye of the Dragon is flat on both sides. Because in the game itself, it's not round or anything, it's just flattened, and it also looks like a yin yang. After going by the image and going by the sketch I did and making sure that everything is the way we want it, we're going to leave it here and let it dry for 24 hours. While I was letting it dry, I also put a hole by using a long nail to puncture both sides. While it was completely dried for 24 hours, I noticed that there are large cracks and a lot of things that doesn't need to be on there. So we're going to take our sandpaper and start sanding both sides, front and back. After sanding both sides and get it to the exact same shape as we want it on both sides, I noticed that the Eye of the Dragon is a little bit too big. So what we're going to do is take some coins and find the right size for it, and once I decide which one is the best for it, we are going to use that as our tracing tool to draw around it. After choosing the right size coin, I start taking my pencil and start tracing around it. After tracing our circle and getting it the way we want it, this time we have to draw the other part of the design, and this time I'm just eyeballing it the way it's supposed to be. After drawing the rest of the design and making sure everything is lined up the way it's supposed to be, we're now going to take our Dremel tool, make sure that we have the setting onto 4, and start by carving all the materials off the stone. I noticed it was taking a lot of material off, so I'm going to have to take my time and patience on this. As you can see, I'm not going past the line. I'm only staying next to the line and I'm only taking the materials of what's around it off, little by little, and making sure that everything is straight and nice before going into the next step. On this part, I was being very careful not to go past the line on this part because there's like a curve, and I'm only gently putting my Dremel tool against it just to take enough materials off. After going through it again with my Dremel tool and make sure everything is lined up and not rough, and make sure all the materials is taken care of, we can now take our sandpaper, take off the drawing that was on it, and make sure that all parts that are rough is now smoothed out. After smoothing everything out from top bar to the bottom part, front and back, and make sure there are no extra materials on it, our Eye of the Dragon stones should be looking like this. By taking our Dremel tool again, this time we're going to take the sharp corners off from it. By taking the Dremel tool, I'm being extra careful because I really do not need to take a lot of materials off the edge, just the sharp corners. So I'm just going little by little of going around it as I go. After doing this to both sides to make sure all sharp corners are off, we're going to take our sandpaper again and get everything from both sides nice and smooth so no sharp corners or any type of sharp edges is showing. After both sides are sanded, our Eye of the Dragon stone is now round and smooth. Our next step is by taking our little ball bit and place it against the hole. And instead of having that flat hole look, it's going to give it that curved hole look. So I placed this method on both sides. After this, we're going to take our sandpaper again, this time using the corner part, and make sure that the curved hole part itself is nice and smooth and not sharp with the edges. Now we're going to take our pencil and start by going by the designs of which I sketched and start drawing out the designs on the stone. The reason why I am drawing these scales and everything that's on it is because we're going to carve these sketches off the stone to give it that realistic curved look, and I made sure by drawing it I did it to both sides. By taking our sharp Dremel bit here, we're going to have to be very careful and slow pacing by carving out all the designs from the scales to the lines and around the hole. While carving the design, I made sure I went back on both sides to make sure that my design of which I've drawn is all carved and not left anything out. Since our carving is done, now we can go on to the painting. In the cutscene where it shows the eye of the dragon, the main color for it is light blue. So we're going to take our blue and white to mix the color and start by painting it on both sides. While painting it, I made sure that I gave it a chance to dry so I can go back to it again to paint the same color to make sure that the right color is the way I want it. And after the first side is done, I go to the other side. After the main color is done, this time we're going to use a light green color, and we're not going to place it through the entire thing. We're only going to place the light green on certain places around the dragon's eye. With this light green, I made sure that both sides of the eye of the dragon has the same pattern color, so that way both sides can have the same look to it on both sides. I also took a small amount of blue and placed it to one of the part of the stone, and I blended in. I also took a dark green and placed it some of the other parts of the dragon's eye to give it that nice look with the blend. The last thing we need to do for our stone is by taking our clear nail polish and place it around the stone, front and back, and also to the sides as well. Reason for this is because we're going to make this shiny to give it like a nice jewel type look to it. Since our dragon's eye is now shiny like a jewel, we can now make it as a necklace. I have both strings, but I'm going to go with the one that's on the left because it has that nice dark brown color. I tie off the string first, cut off the extra string off, take our first part of the string and we're going to slide the first part in halfway, take our other half of the necklace and slide it through the first part of the necklace and make sure it's nice and tight. After making sure everything is adjusted and make sure everything is right, our Eye of the Dragon from Ninja Gaiden is finally complete.